Beat me up.
Do y'all ever just go back and watch fan reaction compilations and laugh, or is it just?
This is all connected. You show up, and now 3 of us are gone.
Why'd you bring us here? Every moment now. You don't have a choice. The only thing you can choose is what you're risking it for. I can let these people feel better and hang on a little bit longer. I can save lives. That's reason enough to risk mine.
They started coming. In the congregation.
Hi there. They call me the governor, and I'm here with my crew once again to talk about Fear the Walking Dead. We have a lot to cover on this new episode. Things left to do. 6x09. I do want to remind you before we get into the weeds on this to go to wizardworld.com. They have some wonderful paid panel experiences coming up this weekend, and your chance to meet and greet with a lot of your favorite celebrities from horror and different shows. I think Malcolm in the Middle is this weekend, so be lots of fun. But that's not why you're here right now. We are going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about the fate of Ginny. We're going to talk about Dakota. We're going to talk about a lot of things. But first, I want to introduce our people. We're going to start out with Jaz this time. Jaz, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jaz, and I do social here at Wizard World.
There we go. Nice and to the point. Michonne?
Hi, my name is Michonne, and I am a member of the Walking Dead community, and I post my reactions on patreon.com/MichonneReacts.
All right. And Sarah, a.k.a. Mama Deadhead.
You can call me Mama or Sarah. Both are fine. And I am also part of the Reactor community with The Walking Dead. And now Invincible. Please watch Invincible. And yeah, that's it.
And I am the governor, and I also react, so I'm part of that community too, even though they give me a lot of side-eye, because apparently I killed Santa Claus. And you can find me on Fandom Spotlight. But now we're going to talk about a show where I didn't kill anybody, but there was a lot of death. But let's talk about this episode, things left to do, and it started out with a funeral, a burial. What do you want to call it?
Grief.
All right, I want to know who was feeling what I was feeling when they watched June dig in that grave.
It depends on what you were feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing.
That.
I felt very, very upset that John was gone. I also felt like he
Okay.
got gypped because he dug a nice deep grave for that friggin' ranger. But, June, what, 3 feet, not even 2.5 feet, maybe? He got a very shallow grave. So I was very upset about that. But yeah, it was like a twist in the knife about John being gone, just watching him lying there. And I actually got an interesting comment from one of the on my reaction where someone said what they should have done was had her go through John's pockets and find those Scrabble tiles just to twist the knife even more.
Ooh,
And I think
yeah,
that would have been amazing.
that would have been really powerful.
That really would have.
They just think of ways to hurt people.
But they missed
Yeah.
out on
They're
one.
good at that for sure.
I honestly didn't even feel that bad. I was like, you didn't want to go with him, so clearly you didn't give a fuck about what happened to him. You decided to not kill Virginia and stay with her. So I didn't feel bad for June at all. Am I a bad person?
Honestly, I didn't feel bad for June, but I think it was less about June's grief in that moment for me, and more like, why are you even hesitating with that gun? Turn around and shoot all of them.
Yeah.
I was like, please end it now.
I mean, I don't know. Like I'm more. I guess I'm pumped about what happened later on in the hour with everything that went down with June over the beginning of it. And she's a strong lady, I have to say. Like sitting there bandaging up Jenny, just knowing what Dakota did, and then
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to reveal that yet, but
I agree that she's a very strong person, but the fact that she failed John so thoroughly
yeah.
is kind of making me a little bitter. Couple comments coming through. Ms. Kayla says hello. Kyle, Jazz, Mama Deadhead, and Michonne. Baby Rose says, hey, Ms. Kayla. Hi, everyone. I finally got this on live. She's always late. Ms. Kayla says, the episode of Fear was crazy. Virginia got what she deserved, and which we're going to talk about. Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Baby Rose says her heart was broken and she wanted Dakota to be gone. Join the crowd. Group of Gamers Inc. 194 says, my favorite episode of Fear to date. Oh my God, it would have hurt even more. Why would you do that to us? What, having the tiles? Yeah, that would have been something.
Twisting the knife. I didn't like the way he went out, but I didn't feel bad
Yeah.
for him at all.
Yeah, she did fail him. She failed, even as a friend. Forget about as a wife. She failed as a friend. He was like,
you chose to marry this man, so marriage meant nothing to you. He wanted to leave to get away. Okay, you didn't kill her. Okay, and then you didn't even go with your husband. Like, who do you really like?
yeah, well, I think not killing her in that or allowing her to turn in the first place was obviously a bad thing. Phyllis says she's glad that Virginia is gone. Torian Foster says, hi, Michonne.
And that's true. You just reminded me. She literally could have just let her turn. She went out of her way to save this lady. Oh my God.
What kills me is that she repeats it again by taking the bullet out of Virginia, saving her again, changes her dressing a second time.
Waste is dressing.
Yeah, waste all that supply.
Never ending supply of dressing.
Well, so maybe it was like, she was expecting her to have this good answer when she asked her that question, and it just wasn't good enough. She's like, okay, fine, screw it. Pow pow.
But it's like that's what it took. That of all things, like, oh man, I'm just.
Well, the
I think we're all
backstory.
salty.
The backstory with June saying, my daughter ended up killing all these people, and I didn't defend her after that. I mean, I can't blame Virginia entirely for defending her daughter, because daughters, they kind of grow on you. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed seeing her get her just desserts, because she fucked up raising that child a great deal.
Yeah, I blame Virginia for separating families and separating people, but then it's like, give me my fucking daughter. And I'm like,
Yeah, that.
you don't have a leg to stand on with, Okay.
Now,
I
before
mean,
we
do you
get to
notice
the
that like kids are kind of a little nuts in this world right now? I mean, not just Fear, but looking back at Lizzie and like Carl when he was little tiny was wanting to like shoot everybody too.
It's already hard enough to raise a child, I am sure. In a post-apocalyptic world, you got
Exactly.
so maybe it's a good thing that all the kids that they rescued in season 5 are just gone.
Yeah.
We don't know where they are. We don't want to know where they are.
We really don't know
They'll
where
come
they're
back with the vengeance to like shoot everybody out. Yep.
Kids that was with Jocelyn, that got Michonne and Daryl. I mean, just kids are psycho. They don't know what's right and what's wrong. That little girl is a walking hypocrite.
Now, we are going to talk about the end of Ginny, but I want to talk about how the hell did she actually rise to power? I mean, she is not exactly the strongest. She's not the best shooter. She's not a quick draw person. She's not a great judge of character because she gave friggin' Strand, carte blanche to build an army. And then look what happened. So how is she in power? Because I can understand Negan.
Yep.
Tough guy. I can understand Alpha, ruthless. She
Mind.
And I mean, they even have something that's somewhat likable about them too, even though they're like pure like evil people. But there was still something very charismatic about their personalities versus Virginia, who was just like, I don't even. There was nothing redeemable to me about Virginia.
I think it's mainly like she found a lot of people in a lot of compromising positions. Like whenever she was going around when Strand was like, whenever Morgan and Strand were doing their thing, she was like, I helped save your kid, or
blackmail-ish like type stuff.
Yeah, so maybe it was more like manipulation, like I helped you, so you have to like be here. Like, I saved you, you have to be with me. Like, come on. That's my only guess. I think it's easy to I think she's definitely narcissistic or was narcissistic. So I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like just forced into the situation, kind of.
Speaking as a guy who, I know how toxic men can be and how threatened they can be by a woman in authority. So it just, she might have managed to manipulate some people into supporting her.
Yeah.
But there had to be a few of those Rangers because they weren't exactly shining examples of, nobility.
True.
In the Rangers. They were a bunch of pricks. I mean, see what they were doing.
You see, every last one turned on her except for that one that took away Grace and Daniel. There was everybody. That's why Strand was able to get everybody together because wasn't nobody fucking with her.
But it's like, how did she last that long, though? I mean, she should have been put out a lot sooner.
I mean, this episode definitely kind of showed that she was like a cat and had 9 lives because there were so many moments we thought that, this is the moment that it's going to happen. Somebody's going to get her, and then somehow she escapes the death.
The whole time I'm like, so we just gonna keep dragging this out? Can y'all fucking kill her? The whole time I'm like, kill her, stop.
I have to admit, like,
and I was like,
Walker deaths are the worst, but I was really hoping that Walker that was the one that she would like get bit and have like the slow, painful death. But I mean, I'm happy
tell
that
us how you really feel. Really, come on.
I was happy that it was June that got to do the honors though too, because
I was like, I really want that Walker to do its job, please.
Exactly.
And I think we saw like one bita in the whole episode. It was just that one.
Just
and I'm
that
like,
one.
I almost forgot they were in this world. Because we didn't see any until that one. But yeah, someone actually said, group of gamers said, from a storytelling perspective, and I agree, they wrote it incredibly well. Having June kill her earlier would have been bad storytelling with the John situation because they definitely wouldn't have killed Dakota at the end. I don't know what's going to happen to her. Tamron Novak says Virginia is the female version of Gregory. I don't know. I think
nobody else.
Virginia is not as bad as Gregory because she's willing to get her hands dirty and she'll like kill a biter.
Yeah.
Sonia, Irna says Virginia's communities were doing quite well until she met our survivors, though. She's strong and she's a leader who's willing to take charge. People in general are very happy to follow anyone who takes charge, especially in a disaster. And it's true. I mean, if someone knows what they're doing, and says, you do this, you do that, people will follow in a lot of those situations.
Yeah.
But that's in the heat of the moment. I mean, eventually, people will be like, why is she in charge? I don't necessarily agree with everything she's doing. And you'll get someone who's like, I should be in charge. I'm going to, sneak up behind her, stick a knife in the back of the head, and I'm going to take over,
I mean, Strand kind of did that.
I'm surprised there was no revolt before our people got there.
Yeah. I mean, there were people that were unhappy.
I literally see her and get mad. Like, there's I don't know. It's just.
I mean, Rachel didn't like her. It's like, oh, who's this? Do you really think coming into this camp, Rachel's going to be like, oh, hi, Jenny, here's my daughter. I want you to meet her. Now die. It's you're not going to do that. Phyllis says it would have been nice to see Morgan decapitate Virginia.
I knew Morgan wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't going to do it.
I was like, come on, Rick and Negan.
Yeah.
He was like, come on, Rick and Negan. This what we doing?
Yeah,
I knew he wouldn't as well.
Yeah, I said at the end of my reaction, I'm like, in my perfect world, Morgan would have decapitated her, and then June would have killed Dakota. Like, that would be my perfect in my head. But I mean, obviously, like, I don't think Morgan would do that. I also have to say that, like, as much as I stand Morgan, yes, I think there was at one point where haters were calling me lead Morganite, so I'll take that title. I was mad at him because, much like Rick, I don't think one person should make that call. It's weird because I'm mad at June and I'm mad at Morgan both because they both made a singular decision, and why can't anybody bring it, like, calm down, let's talk about it. Why do we have to do a public decapitation? Like, take a breath, let's have a vote, let's talk about it. I mean, she needed to die. I'm happy she's dead, but
yeah.
I actually let June slide just because it was her husband, but at the end of the episode, it's definitely stated that Dakota's the one that saved Morgan. I still don't understand how that little girl carried that grown-ass man dead weight.
I don't either.
Even Jenny was like, there's no way. How did she get there and get back? And
and was like, that's her handwriting. And then she started crying. So I'm like, okay, so it really was the little girl. How?
I mean, I still wonder if
tied him up and then rode a horse and dragged him that way out.
She might have dragged him that way, had to, because I don't know, girl.
And she knows enough to sew him up so he doesn't bleed out and do it in such a way, and she's like, I'm going to prescribe you some antibiotics. And,
right.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. She didn't do a great job because the man was a zombie when we saw him in 601.
The bullet was still in there. Wasn't it still in there?
Yeah, it was still in there. Isaac took it out.
Yeah, Isaac had to take it out.
Who had a bullet in them this episode? Oh, yeah, it was Jenny. When he said, you got to get it out of you or you'll die, I was like, oh, sir, you would know. He was half a walker. He was half a fucking walker. So that really came full circle. The bullet in the chest. Love it.
Where she was shot, which, Strand sucks at shooting. He should have got her right between the eyes.
I was like,
at least he doesn't hesitate.
Head.
Yep. But, that is bullshit. The bullet being in her isn't going to actually cause her to die unless it's moving towards, like, a vital artery or something like that. It just being in her isn't going to cause her to die.
And let's be real, this is the Walking Dead universe. So, I mean, even that way, she's not going to die.
I'm like, I just thought, like, your body rejects it as a foreign object and it's like, infection, get out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Morgan had gangrene and everything. Like, that was
that was wild.
Mm-hmm.
There's a side discussion on YouTube on the worst Walking Dead kid. And they did a vote, Dakota versus Lizzie versus Sam.
Ooh,
Lizzie is still the landslide winner.
Period. It's not even a discussion from playing with walkers, wanting to be friends with walkers, feeding walkers, killing a sister, about to that bitch was all the way gone. It wasn't no bringing that baby back. She was already crazy. So of course the apocalypse didn't help.
Group of gamers said, I think we can all agree though through this Fuck Sherry. Fuck Sherry.
First,
Yeah.
Sherry been getting on my nerves since we found this lady.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you still here? Why was there
Right?
whole lead up of him finding his wife just for her to not be shit?
I have
And
to
why-
say I'm salty that they had me crying at their reunion, and like 4 episodes later, I hate her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
was,
the
I was
other thing
feeling
is,
the
she's
salt
so
too.
focused. Yeah, she's focused on killing Ginny, but Ginny didn't actually do anything to her. You're
Yeah.
not in my franchises. So why is she like all, gung ho?
I mean, it has to be PTSD from her trauma with Negan, but it's
It is
just, I don't want to judge her too much because it is PTSD, but at the same time, this man walked across the United States for you, and you're going to,
Ditch him for a bunch of us people.
At the end of the day, that's why she chose not to stay with Dwight and work. She went to be one of Negan's wives because she didn't want him anyway.
Well, there you go.
My whole thing was like, what was the point of the lead up? Oh, I was so mad. And then at the end, when June killed her, I'm like, can somebody please go get Strand to tell him this bitch is dead? He can come home. Fuck Sherry, she could stay gone. But I'm like, can somebody please go get Strand? She's dead. He can come home.
I don't think that he wants to be there because I think he knows an inkling of something bigger like the submarine community, because I mean, he was the leader of Virginia's army. Is he de facto leader of one now? I guess so.
Maybe.
But I think that he probably knows because he's building an army, and Virginia wasn't building an army for Morgan's group that she had split up into like 10 different ways. So I think he knows something, but he doesn't like actually know. Like,
and
he's
I'm
just
just like, what's gonna happen to her communities? Because she has a few.
Yeah.
We just know of a few. We know that ain't all she got. So
Yeah.
we still got the aftermath of this. But everybody that knows what Morgan and them at is dead.
Yeah.
Wait,
So,
what
like-
about the man that took Daniel and
I was asking the same thing. Where is he?
He let him go, but he just like stayed wherever he was. I don't know.
he
Maybe.
just gave him the car because they drove up in the car, but he wasn't.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, is he gonna be all like, thinking, okay, well, Jenny's alive. I'll hook up with her later.
Maybe.
She's running a little late.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
she's
like
very late.
he can't go back to Lawton because he was the only person that was like at Virginia's side, so he knows he's not exactly welcome there.
Well, there was the ranger who ran up next to Jenny, and Morgan came around and just knocked the shit out of him. That was kind of funny. But that battle was confusing because you got rangers shooting at rangers, and you're not sure which rangers are actually still on Jenny's side.
Yeah.
It's like, can you have an armband? Maybe a hat. Shirts and skins, something like that. Sheesh.
I was mad they didn't shoot the tires out and let Daniel and Grace get away. All this firepower, nobody shot one tire. One.
Of course not. For the drama, right? The drama.
Right?
effect.
I'm like, shoot my tire, please. Nobody shot a tire. I was like, sick. You let her get away. Ugh, I'm so mad. This episode was really good.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite episodes, like, period.
I haven't liked a Fear episode this much in a long time. This was good.
It was good, but I felt like it was rushed. I felt it was like, all right, at the beginning of the episode, Jenny's still large and in charge. She's got all these hostages. By the end, she was dead. And it's like, we need to get rid of Jenny so we can bring in the next big bad, who is the people who are the end of the beginning people, and John Glover, because we got to.
I am so excited for that. I cannot wait for
I
that.
don't know what y'all talking about.
Oh,
The end is the
the guy with
beginning.
the
The
gray hair?
people.
in the big beard.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't watch trailers, so she doesn't know.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah,
I've only
At
seen
some
the
point,
ones before it
the
started.
amazing
so I've
John
seen him.
Glover will be in it. That's all we're gonna say.
Okay, I don't know.
You just know that the actor's coming. Oscuro 4 says Sherry's a clown just like June. They need to be BFFs. Yeah, I don't know about that. Baby Rose says Sherry can go. I'm tired of her. I don't have time. None of us have time. Take her mask and her group of the Purge Anarchy and go. Bye. There's a lot of discussion about Strand and not being sure how to feel about him.
Am I alone in this? I always knew Strand was on our side. I never doubted him for 1 minute.
Oh no, I'm Stan.
When I watched the fan reactions, I'm like, Strand would never do Alicia dirty, ever. Strand can do all kind of stuff to get on your nerves and make him think he bad, but Strand is on our side. Like, why do y'all even doubt it at this point? He's still gonna put himself first, but
because I mean, anything can happen in this show. So
Strand.
Yeah, honestly, say I'm so biased that if he would become a villain, I would still love him because Coleman is so amazing. He's so he's so charismatic on screen. I'm just like, dude, he can kill anybody. I'll still watch him. He's so much fun.
Well, I don't think he's always on everyone's side. I think he's on his own side, but he is trying to, save Alicia. He's trying to save everyone. He had his plan, which was separate from the plan that Morgan had, and he's like, no. We're following my plan, not Morgan's plan. And now that Morgan has, blown the lid off of the fact that Ginny's covering up Dakota's murder spree, we'll just have to do something about, Ginny, this is a perfect time. But I think he thinks everyone else is an idiot, and he doesn't tell anyone his plans.
That's so true.
He's like, I am the smartest one here.
That's so true. Morgan don't never tell the plan. He just be like, come on. And everybody be like, wait, what's going on?
So you have two very strong individuals with their own ways of doing things. And Strand has his way or the highway. And they're very stubborn. And so Morgan and Strand are inevitably gonna clash.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a post-apocalyptic world. Y'all know it's not always going to be kumbaya. Sometimes you're going to have to kill people. I'm sorry. How did she get the happy ending with her sister her daughter? How does she really think she deserve a happy ending after all that she did? For real?
Yeah.
For real. Girl, please.
I think it's easy to maybe get it all mixed up with Strand. Like, is he on our side? Is he not? Because he does do a lot of things, and we perceive them looking at this group of characters as a family, but they don't always think that way. Like, especially with like Strand and Daniel, they hated each other from the jump, both of them. Like, it was a mutual thing. Like, we saw them as family. Oh, they're like our team Fear family, but they're not each other's family. And then Strand will literally do the nitty gritty, like murdering Sanjay. And I don't really think we've seen a character like that, like in the Walking Dead universe, that will just like literally sabotage in the worst vile way. But I think that's what makes him so interesting.
Strand will sacrifice somebody of unimportance for his plan. He will not hesitate. We know he's all about self-preservation, but he's still about the group, which I love.
He's like Eugene. He's got like the mind of Eugene, but like the ruthlessness of Negan. So he's got the smarts. He sees what's going on, and he's going to do what he's going to do to get the plan done.
So, I mean, wouldn't that be like more of like a Carol thing though, too? Because I mean, she's always watching, concocting ideas and stuff.
Strand has done it. Strand is always 10 steps ahead. As soon as the Virginia thing happened, he already knew what he was doing. When everybody was freaking out and separated, he already knew what he was going to do.
He was like, I'm taking this piece down there to her. I already got my plan started. Alicia's going to be on my side. Let's get it going. Like, I already have my plan. Like,
as soon as everybody got separated, he fell right into his plan. Daniel, too. Daniel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who are you playing this crazy old man?
Griffin Gamer says that he stands the actor but does not fully trust him. And Phyllis2284 wants to know, what do they do with Dakota now?
I want her dead. Sister. I still want her dead. She needs to die.
Honestly.
Yeah, but we already know Morgan's no executioner.
Well, it's true,
he wouldn't cut off the head of Ginny, who was an adult. He's not going to just cold-bloodedly kill Dakota.
It's true, but I'm just saying that
they might banish her. I don't see them actually executing her.
Well, I mean, I could see them executing her if she's doing something wild, like similar to, obviously, Michonne would never kill children, but given the circumstances she did, like if she's holding a knife to Grace's belly, Morgan will murk her. But like, unless she's in a situation like that, I guess they're just going to banish her, which I guess in the long run could be cool if she joins up with a submarine group and we see her later down the road and she's a big bad now.
I honestly think that they just gonna keep her. I don't want them to keep her, but I think they just gonna keep her.
They might.
We don't need another redemption arc character. Negan's bad enough.
2.0. I'm still upset about Nick. That was my baby. I'm still upset about Nick. But he did it to himself, so I don't feel that bad. But like, I still feel bad about Nick. Morgan told him, "Don't go in there," and he went in there and killed that man anyway. So you can't be that mad at Charlie. Now, I feel worse about Dakota than Charlie because Dakota, he figured out my way out for real.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
For real? Okay.
It's so hard to compare the two because like Charlie seemed relatively normal, but she did come into the stadium and like sabotage them and like have the scavengers listening on a little thing. But then like Dakota was also raised by Virginia in the apocalypse. So it's like these kids are just set up for failure.
He doesn't.
I feel bad for them in that sense because I mean it's not their fault because their minds are still growing.
So it makes you wonder though how little baby Herschel on the Walking Dead actual Walking Dead show will turn out. I mean, I feel like he would actually be normal, but I mean, looking at all these other kids and RJ too. Actually, I don't think he'll be too nuts. But
see, and that's why I say it's already hard enough to raise children. And you can't play no fucking games because either they gonna be Dakota or they gonna be Judith. What they gonna be?
Or they could always be Mika too, this poor little naive thing.
Yeah.
I trust you, Lizzie. Yeah.
And you knew your sister was crazy. And I'm like, damn, you couldn't have fought off, ran, screamed, nothing. Like, did she catch her off guard? I don't know how she killed her sister. And they like didn't hear anything. Oh, also they were gone too. So never mind, they were gone and they walked in back on it. Damn.
Group of gamers said Carol's got like 7 kids killed. Strand hasn't. So
first of all, y'all gonna quit talking about my auntie because most of them kids wasn't even her fault. Mika and Lizzie, not her kids. They was before she got them. So y'all gonna quit talking about my auntie. Sam was stupid. That wasn't her child. He died right there with his mama because he didn't listen. Y'all gonna quit talking about my auntie. Leave my auntie alone.
She can have like great storylines and we can just keep her away from kids just in case.
Henry, your child, y'all better leave my auntie alone.
I'm still calling the whole Lydia thing though. I think Lydia would be a pretty good little badass if she had good mentoring from Carol, but we'll see.
Group of gamers also says that Maggie has infiltrated, so unless he, referring to little Herschel, is around other people, he isn't going to come out well. He's going to be
exactly
like his crazy ass mom.
I can see everything with Herschel being fine and dandy until somebody just slip up and say he the one that killed his daddy. Then all hell break loose.
Then all of a sudden we find Negan murdered in his bed, Herschel covered in his blood with a knife.
I don't even know how I would feel about that. Oh my god.
Phyllis 2284 says baby Herschel might kill Negan, and she hopes so. So it's like, I don't know. That does affect you.
I have such feelings about that. I like it and I don't at the same time.
Yeah.
No, I think Negan needs to take a bullet for baby Herschel.
I think that's probably what we're gonna end up seeing. Some version of that.
Yeah.
Or he's gonna drag him away from some bitas and get bitten himself. Something like that. Yeah. That will hopefully be resolved by the end of season 11. But getting back to this one, so poor Morgan.
Walking Dead in the comments, just had to.
Poor Morgan is trying to get back Grace. He's trying to save Daniel, because Jenny still has them as her whole cards, and Strand doesn't care. Sherry doesn't care. She's like, "You're just as bad as Jenny." What? I don't think so. I haven't seen him. I don't know. Make that connection because he won't let you kill her. That's
Sherry was literally so gung-ho about somebody that never personally did anything to her and didn't give a fuck that she had their pregnant friend and their other friend. She didn't give a fuck at all. He got mad at Dwight.
Yeah. I think she's very damaged at this point. What she went through with Negan, she doesn't get help. I think Dwight has to just write her off, lost cause, can find some office worker from, from the that old episode and hook up with them,
Maybe he'll find Leah. Who knows?
I was actually very happy how Dwight handled it. I said, okay, Dwight, you got some dignity. You been out, like, if he would have got on his knees and begged for the lady, I probably would have screamed. But he was like, okay. And I was like, I know that's right, Dwight. You walked across the country for that bitch and she don't give a fuck, and all you gotta say is, okay, that's good. Let her go.
Though I gotta say, Althea must be pissed. They're going away in her MRAP.
I just watched it earlier today. I'm like, that's not y'all truck, so ain't nobody gonna get her truck back. Like, it's not yours.
Exactly. So yeah, if I was Althea, I'd be so pissed.
The law now, so especially in the apocalypse.
But yeah.
Okay, big question. We've talked about this before. Where's Skidmark?
You know what?
He's with the kids.
Where's Skidmark?
I don't know where that cat is at.
I hope that maybe this is a peace offering between Strand and Daniel. Strand's like, wait, I know where he is. I'll go get him for you. Here you go.
Well, they just broke Ginny's power. So wherever Skidmark is, wherever those kids are, wherever the rest of the Gulchers are, they're still spread throughout the communities.
Yeah.
Now that Ginny's no longer in charge, in the next episode, maybe then we'll see, some of these other Gulchers show up, and one of them will be like, hey, see this cat carrying cage I got? Yeah.
Look at that. I got a cat.
It's a ferret. No, it's Skidmark. And
I'm thinking at this point, well, Strand has obviously been able to do this, but I'm thinking he can just walk into any community he wants, since he was the head of her army or whatever you want to call it. He could just walk in and do it
he's going to walk into each community. No, he's going to go there and he's going to be like, Virginia is dead. I am now your leader. And yeah, he's going to.
I see Strand running the community.
I
think he's going to take over.
I can see it.
He's going to try to anyway.
Because just because Virginia's dead, all of these people are still here, spread out in her community. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, somebody has to.
What?
What's that?
I was just about to say, when will people understand that? You don't have to be mean to lead people, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone's approach is just so different, but why? You don't have to do that, right? And they always believe they're doing the right thing.
Well, any good villain thinks they're, doing the right thing. Because I was never a villain. I was always doing the right thing, but I was just misunderstood.
Your man had neighbors. You couldn't take it.
Well, I didn't trust Rick. Look, I was justified. Look what he did. He basically took another man's wife, then he killed him in Alexandria, and then got her killed and hooked up with Michonne. So it's like, what the hell?
Didn't you kill some of your own people in a field, though?
Group of gamers wants to know, Mama, if you have the Ezekiel and Shiva figurines.
No, I need.
Yes.
She does, apparently. Ms. Kayla says Skidmark is with the kids. She agrees with me. There we go. Shiva. Skidmark is fine, Sonia says. That's all she's going to say. And for everybody, will Strand and Morgan ever be really on the same side again?
No.
No?
No.
I can't see it either.
No.
Morgan back on his all life is precious bullshit, so it's not gonna happen.
Well, I don't know if he's quite all the way back there, but yeah.
He's pretty close if he's not all the way back there.
He put his
even a ruthless Morgan wouldn't be on the same page as a normal Strand.
Exactly. Morgan
And those two don't mix.
I think, the whole alpha male thing, they actually debunked. It's bullshit. But if it were true, you'd have Morgan and Strand as the alpha males. They are the leaders. Alicia's been the longest one on this fucking show. And she's like subservient to whomever. You know, Strand at 1 minute, Morgan another. She's yelling at both of them, but she's still not in charge.
I mean,
And
I
it's
can't
pretty
blame her.
much-
I wouldn't want to be in charge either.
I think I'm the only person that don't like Alicia. I don't.
I think she's there.
I don't hate her, but I don't really like her either. So
I did really care for her at the start because I did not like Madison, and I think that Madison mistreated her so bad, so I genuinely felt for her. Then she shot John, and then that went down the drain. But also, I don't really blame her for taking a bit of a back seat because, I mean, she was a teenager when this started, and she had to watch like her boyfriend, her whole family's gone, like everyone she ever knew, her way of life, everything is done. And like the whole paint and trees thing, it gets a lot of flack and it's kind of silly. But at the same time, when we meet her and her boyfriend are artists and they're drawing murals, and he like draws his picture on her. So I'm like, I get it. Like her whole world's gone.
She just wanted a little peace. I can't see her even.
Yeah.
She just want to live and just, that's it. She just want to live her life.
She's like, you know what? If she left tomorrow and was like, you know what, I'm gonna go paint all these trees, I'd be like, you know what?
You go,
Okay,
girl.
good.
I really don't. I really never liked Madison, but I still don't think Madison is dead. Whenever that lady pop up, I'm gonna be like, here we go.
I actually have to say that other than Nick, I'm not a big fan of having your heroes be, drug addicts, which, he started out as. Obviously, he had to get clean because he couldn't find too many people holding after the biters came. But I have to say the whole crew from season 1, Nick was the only one I kind of liked.
So you don't like Strand? It's Nick and Strand for me.
Strand, he's interesting. He definitely, but I think if he was to come to Woodbury, he and I would have to have one hell of a talk. And he might end up on the wrong side of some aquarium glass, if you know what I mean.
There you go. There's another Walking Dead What If episode for you, AMC. I'd like to see that.
And Nick did so good. I love Nick. Even when they got to Mexico and they were surrounded by all them drugs, he was cool. He wasn't even tempted. He was cool.
Sonia says, I think after someone shoots you in the face, there's no coming back from that. And don't think there'll be ever, except Strand didn't shoot Morgan in the face. Strand shot Daniel in the face, so
I think
did I miss something?
I think Daniel and Strand just agree to disagree, honestly. They know they'll never be buddy. Am I the only person that was surprised when Morgan called John his best friend? Because I'm still not getting it.
No, oh my God, they're best friends.
I was like,
somewhere Rick Grimes was like, what the fuck, Morgan?
I was like, how has Morgan been gone?
I know. It's like, is he really worried about Morgan still? I think in Daryl his buddy now for that.
Walking Dead, we're 12 years into the apocalypse. How far is Fear? How long has Morgan been gone?
I think we're at 5 years in Fear. We're still like around when Rick left in the main show.
There's no time jump. Okay.
There's no time jump there, so it's still around that same time period. But yeah, I've loved John and Morgan like from the start. I could see that friendship budding, like he mentioned, he chased him down the street when he had his bum leg. There's so many times when John was like, he's like the golden retriever boyfriend, but as a best friend. Like he is going to be there for you whether you like it or not. And I don't know, I just think he's super pure. And I think that Morgan, while obviously can be defiant when it comes to help, genuinely appreciated him.
Yeah, Morgan was down bad that day. He was down bad.
Yeah.
Couple things from our crew. Adrian says, hello, Captain. Love you. We're Philly. Hope you're doing well. I am. Thanks, Adrian. Sanjeev says, drug addiction is what made his, meaning Nick's, storyline different and interesting, which I could see. I don't know. I read Jay Bonansinga's Self-Storage, and the main character was a drug addict. And I told him, there's a certain amount of sympathy that loses. Recovering, great. Not recovering, it's like, with me, it loses a little bit of that. Tamara Novak says, I do see a World Beyond crossover happening at some point in the future. Yeah, I don't know about that. World Beyond.
I don't know how I feel about that.
And Sonya says, I'd love to see Troy in this upgraded version of Fear. If they did the Racism Ranch storyline now, it would have been crazy good.
Troy
That
was-
would be. So, any thoughts on any of that stuff? I don't. World Beyond crossover. I'm like, no.
We're not even in the same part of the country, are we?
I
No.
think that's in the west side, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they're north. I think they're north of what's happening here.
Northeast is World Beyond, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, World Beyond was northwest, moving to northeast, but they were in the northern part of the country. So this is more Texas, more the southern
And this
part of
started
the
in
country.
LA, if I remember correctly.
In
And
Fear,
they're
it
moving
started
towards
in LA.
Texas.
Did World Beyond start? Didn't World Beyond start in the Midwest because they went looking for their daddy
Yeah.
in New York?
Well,
Yeah, it
it
was-
started. Weren't they in like Portland or some shit like
No,
that?
that's their like sister community.
Okay. Well, they
Because
had to
there
cross the Mississippi, right?
They had a map. There was a community like in Portland. Then there was the main one that they were at and the campus colony. So there were two like mini colonies in the Midwest because they were in Nebraska.
Omaha, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they were in Omaha. They,
Okay.
yeah, I knew it was so. It went from Midwest to Northeast, where New York is, and I
Yeah.
know Fear is just somewhere in the South at this point, but it did start in LA.
I don't think when it comes to World Beyond that we're going to get any clear cut like character, like whole character crossover type thing. I think it's going to be like little hints given out here and there of, oh, when we capture new people that are A's or B's, we put them here, or we take all of the strong fighters and put them here. And it's going to be just like little inklings of like where our other people have been taken, like Heath and Rick. And
I know World Beyond was servicing Where the Hell is Rick?
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the
I
only
mean, it
reason
had to
it
have its
exists.
purpose. So
I think it's just giving us insight into the type of people they are to get us scared for when we do eventually see Rick.
And we do get a different point of view from people who are raised in the apocalypse. Basically, all kids, and they all get on my nerves, but it's fine.
Speaking of someone who got on everyone's nerves, back to Ginny. Ginny got her final comeuppance from June, and then June's like, "I'm out." She basically put on John's
put
hat,
on her boy's hat, and headed out. Yep.
headed
that was-
out with one of his guns. The other one, maybe she's going to reclaim it. Where do you think she's going now? I don't see her hooking up with Strand.
To live
Hopefully
by
far
herself.
away.
She running away by herself,
Yeah.
what she always wanted to be.
She's going back to John Dory's cabin. She's going to live there. That's what my theory.
Okay, bye.
That's a good theory. I love this episode was beautifully written. I love the way it played out because the whole time I was getting mad. I'm like, okay, can y'all fucking kill her? Stop dragging it out. And then when it
Exactly.
happened, I was like, oh, because I didn't see it happening that way. Oh, it was good. I
100%. I 100% agree with you. Yep.
Yes, I was like, okay, it's dragging. They getting on my nerves. Why she keep finna die, but she ain't dead yet. But when she shot her, I didn't even see it coming. It was good. It made so much sense. She got to blow Dakota's mind. I'm your mother. What?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
the episode was over at that point. I saw Morgan and Grace reunite and I was happy and I'm like, oh, that's all I need. All right, peace out next week.
Am I the only person that was mad Morgan and Grace didn't kiss?
Oh no, I wasn't mad, but I'm also like, they were never officially a thing.
Yeah.
And Morgan is never gonna go for the first kiss anyway. It's gonna have to be Grace going for it.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, okay, come on.
And geez, they should brush their teeth or something. Geez, come on. See Apocalypse, you're like, I want to kiss you, but really, my God. And Sonia says something here. Colby Minifree was amazing. She made Virginia a good villain. My hat, if I had one, would be off to the actress. She has done an awesome job.
Mhm.
I saw her. She was great in Jessica Jones. She was great in The Boys, and she's still great in The Boys. I think she's still alive in The Boys. And then, she was obviously made Virginia an interesting villain. Not her fault that she's not the most realistic villain. Again, in my thought, she would have been ousted from power a long time ago. But, you know, if we can believe that Bidens exist, we can believe that Virginia could stay in power for as long as she did.
I do in different types of villains because she just came out of nowhere. It was like, who the hell is this lady? We're supposed to be scared of this. What?
That's exactly it. We are almost out of time, guys. So let's have final thoughts and shameless self-promotion. So let's start with Mama. Mama, final thoughts, shameless self-promotion.
Final thoughts. I love this episode. I thought it was so well acted. Everyone knocked it out of the park. Definitely one of my favorite Fear episodes. Maybe one of my favorite Walking Dead universe episodes just ever. Excited to see where the characters go from here. Watch Invincible. It's almost over. First season's almost over. It's your time, guys. You got to watch it. It's so good. Make sure that you're active in the reaction community because we have a few people here representing, but there are a vast amount of people with so many different tastes and they're wonderful and lovely. So just check out the reaction community is all I'll say. And Invincible.
And on the Skybound site, check out the compilations.
Absolutely. Go through all the links. They link everyone. Go through all of them.
Michonne?
My name is Michonne. I'm a member of the Walking Dead community. Walking Dead is the greatest show to ever grace television. And because of that, I am in the whole Walking Dead universe. This is one of my all-time favorite Fear episodes. I have not liked Fear this much since they were in Mexico. And all of the Mexico episodes were absolutely to die for. I love those. So this right here it's redeemed Fear for me. And I'm very, very curious to see where it even goes from here. Because this is like the best Fear has ever been. So I don't even know where they're going to go from here. And my full uncut reaction to this episode will be on patreon.com/Michonne Reacts tonight because I just watched it today.
All right. Jazz.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jazz again. And yeah, I'm just thankful for bringing me onto this panel and, you know, getting me to watch Fear because these couple episodes have been just mind-blowing to me and wonderful. And I'm so here for it. As always, you know, be nice to the actors. Don't send any death threats because, you know, we've got some people out there that had to shut down their social media because people were not being very nice to them. And it would be really sucky to lose connections with those actors because they are so wonderful. And, you know, just keep following us at Wizard World. And you can find me also at Jazzy Diva, JAZZZYDIVA on Instagram.
Awesome. Thanks, Jazz. And I, of course, am the governor. From the Governor Reacts, I am part of this wonderful reactor community. I show up in pretty much all the Skybound reactions. And yeah, I would have to say that my final thoughts about this episode is, yeah, this whole season has been making up for the shit show that was season 5. Season 5 made it a chore to react to these episodes. This has been a pleasure to react to. This has been a pleasure to, you know, see what's going on. And I mean, is it a perfect show? I mean, some people think it is, but I don't quite think it's perfect. But I do quite enjoy it, and I love what they're doing with it. And I want to see Skid Mark once again. And and you can find me at fandomspotlight.com. You can also go to Fandom Spotlight on YouTube, watch my reactions. You can also go to Skybound, see the compilations of reactions. That includes Mama Deadhead and Michonne and a whole bunch of other great people. And a quick message for the underdog, Mr. Williams. I sent you an email and you did not reply. I was going to see if you wanted to be on board. It would have been fun.
Disappointed in him now.
So check your spam folder, damn it. And get in touch with me so we can see about getting you, you know, into one of these reaction panels, because I think it'd be fun to bring you on board. So, and maybe some other reactors will also reach out to as well. I've sent emails and gotten, what's that?
Group of Gamers 194.
Yeah, we might have to bring a Group of Gamers 194. We might have to, we reached out to a certain Irish reactor, but unfortunately this happens at a time that's not very good for her. So, and I'm going to stop talking like this so she doesn't get insulted and beat me up, because I think she's one tough bitch. But anyway, yeah, so again, thanks to Wizard World for hosting us. And again, go to wizardworld.com, check out their upcoming panels. They have some new ones that they'll be announcing at the beginning of May. I'm not going to say anything more about that, but there are some a new panel series is going to be coming out, so that will be good. And yeah, you can find us all on our social medias on YouTube. Everyone, thanks for watching. And at this point, Governor and this crew, we're out.
This is all connected. You show up, and now 3 of us are gone.
Why'd you bring us here? Every moment now, you don't have a choice. The only thing you can choose is what you're risking it for. I can let these people feel better and hang on a little bit longer. I can save lives. That's reason enough to risk mine.
They started coming. The congregation.
Living will have this world.